Senator Caputo.
Here.
Senator Carberry.
Here.
Senator Doyle.
Here.
Senator Harrison.
Present.
Senator Khan.
Here.
Senator Liu.
Here.
Senator Mallory.
Here.
Senator Palmer.
Here.
Senator Rafiq.
Here.
Senator Schmidt.
I'm here.
And Senator Walsh.
Here.
All right, thank y'all. So next up on our agenda would be visitors and guest speakers, but as we do not have any here with us today, we are going to move on and go straight to our next item of business, which is swearing in all our executive branch members. They were all appointed over the summer, so now it's sort of making sure that they're actually part of our organization. I'm going to turn this over to Chief Justice Mooney to make sure that she gets that process done. So Tess, if you want to speak up and go for it.
So this is going to be the oath of office. Welcome to any of our new members. Real quick, we have a few new members of the executive branch on this call today. Can you quickly say here, just so we have a full head count?
Here.
Here.
Great.
Here. Here.
Okay, so I'm seeing, great. So if you have the articles of governance in front of you, that would be great. If not, Kaylee, could you share your screen real quick? Or I can share my screen, I have the articles here, just so you can read the statement yourselves. But I will also be saying it aloud. I will be following each line of our oath of office to the end of its punctuation, just to avoid full Zoom lag. If you are falling behind, please take this at your own pace, and we will wrap up with the end of it. So,
I will stop sharing my screen so you can start because I do not have the articles up.
sorry, I just signed out of it.
Hey everyone, we are still figuring out the first day of the year. Apologies in advance.
It is a learning process, so thank you all for your patience. All right. All right, quick thumbs up if you can see my screen. Fantastic. Oh, let's not edit anything while we're here. All right. And also, you can follow the first or second one. So under God is fully up to you and what you're comfortable with. So, following this, sorry, I have to move this down so I can actually read it myself. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to serve the students of Loyola University Chicago to the best of my ability and uphold the mission and articles of governance of the student government of Loyola University Chicago. I hereby take this obligation freely without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of this office which I'm about to enter. All right, congratulations to our new members. You're officially sworn in.
All right, so we are going to just go ahead and move on. Sharing my screen, sorry. Thinking is not going well for me right now. So if you'll give me 1 second. Right. So next up on our order of business is approval of the minutes. If you will believe it or not, we did in fact have minutes from our meeting on April 14th, 2020. I know it seems like several years ago, but we do have to approve those minutes. They have been included in the materials of this meeting, in the folder of the materials of this meeting. So does anyone have any amendments to the minutes? All right, if there are no amendments to the minutes, we are going to move on to the reports of the advisors and the chaplain. Father Michael, do you have anything to report?
Number one, I'd just like to welcome all of you back, and especially the new members, and also alert you to we're having the Faith, Service, and Justice Fest this evening after our meeting, starting at 7 p.m. Probably the last thing you want to do is have yet another Zoom meeting. But there'll be representatives from the student leaders and staff of all the different organizations that fall under campus ministry and community service and action. And so this will be set up so you can drop into various Zoom sessions and meet with student leaders of the various groups. There will be representatives from Agape Ecclesia, Hillel, the Jewish Student Organization, the Hindu Students Organization, Muslim Students Association, and other faith-based student organizations and service. So I would encourage you, especially the new students, if you'd like to get more involved in faith and community service, to join us tonight at 7 p.m. That's everything.
All right, thank you, Father Michael. Advisor Manzano, do you have anything to share for us?
Sure, thanks. It's great to be with you all. Welcome back to this, what will be a historic year and a historic session of SGLC. It's great to be with you all, and I'm looking forward to all the things you'll be able to accomplish this year. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Just a couple updates. As you know, most of everything is going on virtually in terms of our services across the university. So I encourage you to check out different websites to see how different offices are engaging with students. I know that we in the Division of Student Development have updated our websites to indicate how we're engaging with students virtually. And so as all of our services are online or through telephone, make sure you're just updated on those, that information there. One quick update you may have seen is we have a new undergraduate student newsletter that's being produced by University Marketing Communications in collaboration with Student Academic Services and the Division of Student Development. You'll see this newsletter called The Kettle every other week in your mailbox. So the first issue went out last Monday, and the next issue will be out this coming Monday. There'll be important information about resources, programs, and services related to student success and student engagement on campus. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to have great information and hopefully helpful for you as we go through this unprecedented year. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Advisor Manzano. So next on our agenda is unfinished business. We don't have any, so we're going to move straight on to new business and discussion. There are no current items in new business and discussion, so if at this time anyone would like to bring up a point, now would be the time to do so. Please raise your hand and then we can call on you. All right, there are no items for new business and discussion. Then we're going to move on to the reports of the legislative branch, starting with the reports of the standing committees with academic affairs. So Senator Palmer, if you'd like to begin.
Hello, everybody. Not too terribly much to report. Unfortunately, due to, I feel like this is a common phrase these days, COVID-related issues, a lot of the projects that had made a lot of good progress over the summer are unfortunately tabled, just with various departments and how COVID is changing the way they'll operate this semester. For instance, the LGBTQI+ learning community, which we were really making good progress on over the summer. Unfortunately, without a lot of contact with residents' life, that project is kind of indefinitely on hold. Also, the side fact that I am the only member of the committee, plus the chair. So meetings have been sparse, to say the least. I'm hoping that with fall elections coming up really soon, that we will get new members. And I have new initiatives and stuff on the way. But for now, I'm just kind of holding off until I can get some fresh eyes on current issues I have and to see what new members feel that is interesting to approach from the academic affairs lens. And that is all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator Palmer. Next up is the Allocations Committee with Senator Doyle.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Allocations has spent the summer fairly busy. Funding doesn't stop ever. So we have been in relation, just like Senator Palmer mentioned, COVID-19 changes everything in every facet of the university, and it has not spared student organizations, it has not spared SAGA, and it has not spared our committee. So we spent the summer finding different ways to help support students through COVID-19. And we have amended policies in our RSO handbook, which you can find on SAGA's website or LU Community. Some of these policies include shipping policies, merchandise rules, and then working with SAGA on some of their policies like subscription services and virtual fundraising. And then we've also got some stuff going on with recycling SBR funding, but allowing for appeals if you still need it for a virtual event. It's all pretty nitty-gritty stuff, but if you have any questions about it, please do not hesitate to email allocations@luc.edu for those type of related questions. Outside of COVID-19 related support, we're working with our CFO and our CSO at taking a second look at like the TGIF, the Green Initiative Fund, looking at where it can be best utilized and different ways that we can help develop that fund, as well as looking towards this year at creating a fund, like a multicultural fund that's dedicated to celebrating and educating about diversity at Loyola. So those are just a few of the things that we've been up to as a committee, and we're looking forward to hitting the ground running as appeals are due next Friday, and next Friday is when SPOT begins. So 3 weeks from now are our hearings. So you'll hear from me a lot more on that front. So that is all I have for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator Doyle. Next up is the Facilities and Transportation Committee with Senator Khan.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. Unlike Senator Doyle, I can't say that Facilities and Transportation has been terribly busy over the summer, but we have been since developing new ideas for the ways we can help, including new initiatives and things to bring up at meetings with the different admin that we're going to be talking to, such as Gretchen Carey and Don Collins. But if any of you guys have any notes for me to bring up with them, or you want to sit in one of those meetings, please let me know. We're also going to be developing these plans better at our upcoming committee meeting, probably later this week. But as far as everything else is concerned, that's everything in the report as of now.
All right, thank you, Senator Khan. Next up is Senator Brownick with the Justice Committee.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all are staying safe this first week of school. I wrote a lot in the report, but just quickly wanted to mention kind of as we move into this new school year, something that I found quite funny in reflection from last year. Upon my resignation last year, I said something, and maybe some of you recall this, about making sure that everybody gives each other hugs during the time that I was away. Something about 7 hugs a day to maintain. And I just find it very interesting, right? In this new world, it's very difficult to connect. So I'm just hoping that you all are able to continue to make some connection, be that virtually or in person with your roommates or family. So again, hoping to get back together eventually, but during this world of coronavirus, we have adapted as a Justice Committee. I really appreciate Senator Walsh and Senator Mallory. They have really jumped in and just done a great job, and former Senator Nick Boyle. Jumping off of that, we had a lot of great voter registration stuff coming from Nick Boyle. We look forward to connecting with Lupe again as we move forward. In regard to cutting ties with Airmark and talking about an in-house solution, we have Senator Caputo and I have met with the Students for Food Sovereignty oftentimes this summer, and we are working to draft legislation. So we're really excited about that. I'm sure Senator Caputo can also speak to that. And as far as National Suicide Prevention Month, Senator Walsh and myself and a few members of the communications team have connected with Howard Brown Health, and we're looking forward to having a really great and informative National Suicide Prevention Month, and a lot of social media initiatives around that. ACO Esparza has specifically been working on that as well. And then just as I put this as a point of information within the Justice Committee report, that I wanted to also note that there have been on campus, currently there are protests to cut ties with CPD. And yes, that is something that, again, just as a point of information there, I don't have a lot more information than that, but looking forward to communicating and connecting on that as we move forward.
All right, thank you, Senator Bronick. Now we're going to move on to the Residents, Commuters, and Dining report with Senator Caputo.
Hey everyone, going off of Margaret's little spiel, I'm sending you all virtual hugs. So not much other, like everything is in the report. However, I do want to add on about the Aramark stuff. Margaret and I will be putting together a little presentation similar to what former senators did with Aspire, if any of you remember that, just to kind of prep y'all for debate and voting on the pieces that we are drafting. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys.
All right, thank you, Senator Caputo. And now we have the Safety and Wellness Committee with Senator Rafik.
Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope the first week is not terrible on Zoom, but there's not much apart from the report. I'd recommend reading that in the folder, but Safety and Wellness is looking into a bigger year, particularly in terms of targeting specific groups for mental health and seeing what we can cater to certain backgrounds, certain identities, and just seeing what we can do, looking into that conversation, as well as sort of addressing campus safety and the relationship with CPD, seeing how we can fully understand it, because we don't know the whole story, I guess you could say. So we're looking into the contracts behind the scenes and sort of what we can do as SGLC to take us one step forward to a more equitable university. But apart from that, I give you all a big virtual hug.
All right, thank you, Senator Rafik. And so with that, we're going to move on to the reports of the special committees. Our first and only report will be from Senator Palmer with the Fall Elections Committee.
Hello, back again. Fortunately for this one, I have a lot of actionable items to talk about. So as you all know, every fall Elections Committee comes back around. So we have been meeting. I believe we've met a couple of times, most formally to obviously elect a chair and then create an action plan. A couple things that are notable this year is we're currently, right now, the packet was released on the 24th. And so right now we are in full drive mode towards getting all the candidate meetings scheduled. I've been in contact with a lot of prospective senators. Hopefully some of them are watching today. Shout out if you are. Regarding the, again, I'm going to talk about COVID, forgive me, but it does present a unique difficulty when considering how we go about promoting the role to first years, considering that there really is no longer a campus, and a lot of them don't have the luxury that we kind of take for granted of being able to market their material on their social media, and kind of the thought process that we hope that people that go to Loyola follow us, or somebody we know that goes to Loyola and has more followers will repost it, but keeping the mind frame that they're pretty much as new as can be, plus they don't have the benefit of residence halls. So that has led to a lot of interesting conversations about how we go about marketing. Huge shout out to Speaker Kaylee. I can thank you so much, all the help. It's really been like an all hands on deck effort. Also shout out to Sal and the comms team as a whole, amazing. And of course the lovely fall elections committee as well. One more thing quickly, because I don't want to take up too much time. If you have anyone that you know of that would either be interested in running for internals, or you know of any first-year students that would be interested in running for a first-year senator position or another available position, please reach out to me. We have a Google Doc system set up so that we're making sure we're staying organized, keeping track of people, and that everybody kind of gets a fair and equal opportunity to have their candidate meeting and then present that packet as well. And if you know anyone with questions, please have them either email the email address, or of course, come talk to any of the fall elections committee. Other than that, I think that is it. Oh, wait, one more thing. I do want to say that we have actually received a really high interest in the role. I was a little bit worried about that given the weird circumstances around marketing to first years when unfortunately we're just not on campus and it is a lot more difficult. But I am pleasantly surprised to see the amount of people that have shown interest and have already started going through the candidate process. And we only released the packet yesterday. So I have high hopes. That being said, I encourage everyone to encourage everyone else to run for the role as well. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you again, Senator Palmer. So we're gonna move on to the reports of the judicial branch with Chief Justice Mooney. So if you have anything for us, now would be the time.
All right, great, thank you, Kaylee. So far this summer, in the report, I have summarized most of what the Associate Justices and I have been working on. On top of that, I would just like to remind senators that this has been a very inspirational and truly unique summer. And as that inspiration turns into action, please don't be afraid to reach out. I'd rather receive so many questions that don't end up turning into legislation than have a really great piece of legislation not be able to be passed because of a small error within it, and that then cannot be incorporated into our articles of governance and greater action. So please reach out. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We're all on Zoom right now. Otherwise, I'd offer to meet you in the SGLC office, but don't be afraid to reach out, send an email, ask those questions. We're here as resources, and we'll have office hours established soon. So looking forward to hearing from you all. I know there's going to be a lot of really great things coming out of this year.
All right, thank you, Chief Justice Mooney. Our next report is going to be from the executive branch, starting with President Drescher and Vice President Flores.
Hello. All right, in the chat right now, everyone put in your favorite breakfast food. Let's hear it. Let's hear the best thing that you could ever have for breakfast, just to get a little bit of energy. Here we go. Pop-Tarts. Oh, wow. Here we go. Everything bagels. Waffles, Captain Crunch, avocado toast, pancakes, banana pancakes. Go off. All right. Avocado toast. Lots of love for avocado toast in the chat. Croissant. Tell them banana toast. Okay, awesome. Cocoa Puffs, waffles. A single egg. Okay. Okay, love. Thanks, Kat. Okay.
I'm hungry.
Cool. Yeah, now I'm just hungry.
Yeah. And for those of you who were here last year, Martin and I can't physically go walk around the room and energize the room as exciting individuals as we are. So we'll probably try and introduce some of those energizers a bit. Thanks to Martin for putting that one together. Any suggestions, welcome too. Okay. Well. This is nice. It's great to see everybody. I know a lot of us have communicated over email or in some scattered Zooms over the summer. Some of us we have not. So it's great to see you all again from the spring. I hope everybody had an okay and somewhat restful summer, all things considered. One thing that I keep talking about this year is the amount of hope that I have for this year and for what we can accomplish together. I imagine those of you sticking around and still putting in the work are are excited about it and just as passionate as we are. So very hopeful, very excited for this year, very excited and grateful for the team that we have around us. So I hope you all share in that sentiment. But with that, we have a pretty long report this week. I know a lot of us do because it's coming off of the midsummer report. That said, we're going to talk a little bit more verbally in this report, and then in future reports we'll wind it down a little bit because it'll be shorter. But there are some pretty exciting things that took place over the summer that we want to highlight. The first of which, it's not so exciting. It's more just like formality, so bear with me. But you know, as has been alluded to by a few senators talking thus far, there are calls right now to cut ties for LUC to cut ties with CPD. One way in which those calls are being made are via protests happening around campus right now. No one has spoken out of place on this, so this is not me like in a reactionary sense saying this in a disciplinary way by any means, but just as a reminder to all of you, I think it was released in an email earlier on, right in the spring there, of just sort of like the logistics and formalities of who we can speak on behalf of as an SGLC. I could talk about the history of why this is at another point, but just as a gentle reminder of the two ways in which the organization speaks is going to be through a piece of legislation that passes all three branches. That's considered like a formal declaration of the SGLC and the undergraduate student body at that point. And then per the articles, and I think a change that was made last year was through a statement or signature of the president of the organization at the time. That said, you all in your individual capacities and your individual roles have the utmost ability to speak on behalf of yourself as a student, yourself as a senator, an executive member, whatever that may be. We just ask that out of respect for the other people in the organization that we're not speaking on behalf of the organization, on behalf of your committee, your branch, without the proper procedures that we do have in place. And that goes for everything. I just say it because I recognize, some of the protests taking place. And a lot of these issues that there's tons of passion and energy around right now. So let me know if anybody has questions on that. Again, no one's done anything wrong. This is just a reminder for the beginning of the year. So, okay. So kind of shifting into a similar subject with the protests taking place around campus. I've been in touch with a few members about this, but I do intend, this was not included in the report as it's been developed since. I am considering writing a statement, again, on behalf of the organization at this point, simply reaffirming our alignment with the Black Lives Matter movement, with the action items that we signed on to earlier in the summer. If you need a refresher on any of those things, I can resend the email your way, just shoot me a chat. And then also just acknowledgement of the practice of your First Amendment rights on and around campus. And in tandem with that, our comms team, Jocelyn in particular, has offered to put together a graphic demonstrating like safe protesting practices for folks on campus who may be new to such a form of advocacy. So any questions on that? Kind of pause there.
And as we move into the different parts of the report, some of the advocacy that Maddie and I have kind of brought in our various meetings that we're obviously privileged to be in, a lot of that has revolved around the action items and calls being made, at Sheridan actually right now by fellow students, but as well the work of the Black Cultural Center and other Black students on campus. As for right now, it has been on every administrator's agenda since June or so that Maddie and I are in contact with. Again, a large part of it is about transparency, and a large part of it is about what is the specific involvement, what is the specific contract, different levels of specificity, and frankly, like just transparency are still needed. But know that Maddie and I are still pretty consistent and pretty thorough in those meetings in calling for Maddie, do you have anything else to add?
On a note of administration meetings in general, those are all located in the drive. We usually put them together a couple days before. I'm not going to bombard your inboxes by any means with like updates on what our agendas look like, but they are accessible to all of you if you're ever interested in what we're talking about. Now with regular reports, we'll be putting out upcoming meetings and previous meetings as well. So if there are particular items that you would prefer that we bring up to a specific administrator, if we haven't reached out to you in regards to like your work on an initiative that we think could benefit by being, by crossing someone's desk, please feel free to reach out to us as well. Two-way street there. So yeah, let's see. Martin, you want to give a brief update on the sustainable investment portfolio as well?
Yes, very good news in regards to the sustainable investment portfolio and attendant divestment from fossil fuel investments at the Board of Trustees level. Myself, President Drescher, and CSO Oyos will be in front of the Investment Policy Committee at the September Board of Trustees meeting, outlining student support as well as the mission integration portion of divestment and kind of kickstarting that conversation within that specific committee. It is a huge spot, and it's obviously the work of many student activists, student interest groups, many folks around the university through time, really pushing for this and advocating for this, particularly last year's administration. So we're very grateful to have this spot, and we're happy to, talk more about that or answer questions. Maddie, anything else on that?
The other main point there is that the other sort of section, for those of you who are not aware, at the end of last spring's term, there was legislation that came out of SGLC specifically calling for the Board of Trustees of Loyola to divest from fossil fuels, develop a sustainable investment portfolio, and then as well to begin including a student on that committee. So for those of you who are unaware, we have the ability to appoint students to different committees of the Board of Trustees, those namely being the Academic Committee, the Jesuit Identity and Diversity and Inclusion Committee, all as one, and then the Finance Committee. So we appointed those earlier in the summer. Those of you who were on at that point voted on those folks. Actually, Associate Justice Alex Almanza is one of those folks sitting on the Jesuit Identity and Diversity and Inclusion Committee. But the other call was to get a student on the Investment Policy Committee, and we did also receive confirmation that the timeline they've laid out for us is to have a student sit on that committee starting in December, and we will begin promoting those positions following Labor Day. We figured would be the best timeline to get that person situated. The process will be as follows. We will interview folks just as we do for executive positions, Associate Justice, Board of Trustees, etc. We'll interview those folks, and we're actually going to pick a top 3. This is just on the side of the committee of sort of where we reached a point of taking next steps here. We're going to choose a top 3, and then through interviews of the Investment Policy Committee, and I believe it's my understanding that Dr. Rooney and CFO Majars will also be included in those interviews to some degree. They will choose their final candidate. So more information to come on that, but really good news all around in terms of actual progress following the release of the legislation of last spring and conversations happening over the summer with the investment office of the university. So pause there. Again, go on, Martin.
Sorry, no, I will pause there for questions. Again, this is the work of maintenance, and just it's big. It's very big, and we're glad. Okay. As well, Maddie and I, the next morning, we'll present at our regular Student Development and Student Success Committee Board of Trustees meeting, just on the student experience, as well as a number of different topics that we often raise in that quarterly meeting of the Board of Trustees. So just as an update, but very excited.
Okay, bear with us, a couple more updates here, but again, we recognize there's been a million emails that have gone out over the summer, and these reports are long, and this stuff's important, so bear with us here. But so we, if some of you remember at the beginning of the summer, we tried really hard to get more students involved in the COVID emergency response structure. We reached out to you, we got some names back. We got a lot of positive feedback from administrators that seemed like on board, but we didn't get the official like green light at any point. We didn't have a pathway to get students on. Basically at the end of June, we were in a meeting with Dr. Rooney, explained the situation, and she posed, she actually said, you probably don't want students sitting across the structure, the COVID emergency structure. The reason being spreading student voices out that far. Not all the conversations are going to be student oriented. For example, a student on the Lakeshore campus probably doesn't care how we're getting medical equipment to the health sciences campus throughout COVID, right? So to keep conversations a little bit more concentrated, she posed a compatible group to the faculty advisory group, which was created in about the end of June, met bi-weekly with the provost, I think Dr. Rooney to a certain extent, but some other administrators too, to talk about like the faculty experience throughout COVID as well, and accounting for those sort of nuances. That said, we were tasked with putting together a student advisory group of a similar capacity. We expanded quite a bit outside of student government, though we do have student government representatives on there. Our plan actually, we have CFO Bayo will be sitting on there. And then we are actually probably going to reserve a spot for a first-year senator, because that is one experience that we'll be missing from that group. And that was a pretty direct way that we could get a first-year experience on there. That said, we've reached out and are accounting for student workers on campus, international students. Every section's going to escape me now. Martin, help me out. Hold on.
Well, as well as student workers, particularly like peer advisors right now, and what were former orientation leaders, folks really working with first year students as well is a particular concern. But yeah, this is kind of going to be a rotating kind of selection of different administrators from bi-weekly. So they may have the chance to talk to Dr. Rooney, the provost, someone from University Marketing and Communications, and kind of give raw feedback to them. So this is kind of that venue. But it's a very cool opportunity that's been met with a lot of support. Yeah, and hopefully it's another avenue for students to get connected.
Yeah, as well, and I'll actually point in here as well, we do have our Root Bay College's student government vice president on here, who serves as a liaison to SGLC. Her name's Evelyn. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself later on in the meeting, if that's all right. But in working with the Root Bay College, student government of a Root Bay College, we also got a Root Bay representative on there. We have 2 graduate students pursuing masters, SDMA mentorship leaders, commuter students, and so on and so forth. So we did our best to get a wide variety of students who maybe don't interact with administrators as often. And it's meant to be a sort of real-time reactionary feedback group for administrators, as we recognize like as much planning went in over the summer for COVID response, implementation is going to look a lot different, and things are going to come up throughout the year. So there's that. Martin, you want to talk about youth Senate?
Moving into kind of the briefer updates, we want to be cautious of your time, as well as Zoom gloom here. But we're honing in on some very quality University Senate candidates. As a reminder, University Senate is an advisory group to Dr. Rooney. It's comprised of faculty council members, staff council members, students, admin that serve as ex officio members, as well as graduate students. So yeah, so we're pulling from a big cross-section of folks to appoint to University Senate. We hope to have that list in final and kind of render a decision to them by Sunday of their appointment, and then hopefully by next meeting, we're voting on University Senate representatives. Fingers crossed, but please keep checking your emails and keep an eye out.
And then Martin will finish off with reminders about the retreat, but I want to talk about 2 opportunities here for further involvement, one specific to SGLC and then one a little bit external. So I'll start with external committees and first give a shout out to Senator and Speaker Pro Tem Margaret Bronick, who's been working very diligently over the summer to get external committees sort of situated for the year. External committees being the non-SGLC affiliated university committees that SGLC officers are asked to serve as representatives to. So a couple examples, and actually spots where we have positions open right now. As was mentioned by Margaret earlier in the meeting, or Senator Bronick earlier in the meeting, sorry. Senator Nick Boyle actually just resigned, and he served as a representative, SGLC representative to the Loyola University Public Engagement Committee, LUPE for short. We're going to need another student to sit on that, especially now, when the main effort right now is about voter registration and voter turnout. So if that is something of interest to you, we're finding out details on meeting times and things like that, but I think it was fairly flexible if I'm not mistaken. So if you are interested in that, we have an opportunity for you to sit on that. Please, please, please either chat right now to myself, Margaret, or Martin, and let us know if you're interested in that. As well, we actually have 3 opportunities associated with the Board of Undergraduate Studies. I sat on that committee last year as a representative. You basically foresee or overlook a number of academic proposals that have to do with multiple schools or multiple deans. It kind of spans across the university where it's not just particular to one school. So an example I could give off the top of my head was the creation of and I know CEDIO Thomas worked on this a bit, but the creation of a DEI certification, I said that weird, certification for your degree pursuit. So that's taking a certain number of classes, but those classes span across the university and the curriculum, but you take a certain amount of certain classes and you get a DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion certification on your degree as well. That came out of the provost's office. There have been other proposals where you review sort of cross-sectionality between like a major or minor program with IES and the business school. So opportunities like that, you get to interact with the deans on a regular basis as well. So we've got 1 representative who is needed on a regular basis. It's going to be 1 Thursday a month from 11:15 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time via Zoom. And then we've got 2 sort of as needed reps, but we need names to put to it. So 1 is for an engaged learning subcommittee. They're only going to review or meet when proposals come up in relation to engaged learning. So if you've taken some internships or engaged learning classes and have a particular interest in that, let us know. And then the other one is going to be the university core subcommittee. So that has to do with any proposals or changes to the core, but again, it's on like an as needed basis as they come up throughout the year. That's when you'll meet, and it'll be based on folks' availability. So it's not a regular commitment. So many opportunities to get further involved here as representatives, throwing those out there to you. That's all included in the report and it's highlighted. So if you want more information, I got some links in there too. You can go visit, or again, shoot us a chat, shoot us an email, and we could talk about it too. The other thing I'll mention in terms of opportunity, and then I'll turn it over to Martin, and I promise we'll be done, is the Ignatian Family Teach-In for Justice. For those of you who have been around a couple of years or even last year, this probably sounds familiar to you. In years past, SGLC normally contributes a certain amount of funds to sponsor students, typically 2 SGLC students to go. That's never guaranteed that 2 SGLC students would go, but it's what we sponsor in that. This year's conference is virtual. The delegation is a little bit bigger. Myself, Martin, and CEDIO Thomas, as well as Father Michael, I'm sure can speak to all of our experiences on there. Father Michael, CEDIO Thomas, and myself went 2 years ago. VP Flores went last year. Father Michael, I'm not sure if you went last year as well. No, okay. But in my particular year, you went as a delegation and learned together about, along with AJ Almanza. So there's another person you could talk to about it. It's a great opportunity to learn about different avenues for advocacy. In the times that it was in person, you actually went to the Hill and advocated to certain representative staffers and things like that. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to adjust that this year, but you still got the opportunity to dive into issues. In my year, it was about, I believe, justice at the border, and then prison reform as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And last year was about migration justice as well as environmental justice. If you're curious about macro, issues of justice as it relates to at least like what the Jesuits kind of propose. You do not have to be religious for this, but if you want to broaden your advocacy skills, kind of put them in action in a real way, this is a really cool spot, and free per the SGLC sponsorship, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So opportunity for that, again, information is in a report for that. You can apply through LU Community, I believe. The application is live. Let's see here. Yeah, the application's live. And then the delegation application is due September 7th. So that's if you want to be just a student, sort of a part of that conversation. But they also have a unique opportunity this year that they normally don't offer to anybody just seeking to apply, I believe. That's due on the 11th of September. And that's to actually lead or present a breakout session. So for folks who have been before or, learned about it online and things like that, you have the opportunity to actually present a session of your own on maybe advocacy you've done here on campus, other avenues you've pursued as well. All the information that I have is linked in our report as well, and we'll probably be reaching out to a few of you individually, having been that we think would be a great fit for this year's delegation. So, all right. Any questions on that?
Last thing, I promise, I know we lost a couple of folks, but okay, so everyone needs to listen to this because this is about the SGLC retreat. Per the articles, if you're a mandatory person that is required to go to the retreat, which is everybody except for our board of trustees reps, our folks from our RUPE as well as our advisors, we prefer that you RSVP, but that's our way of knowing that it's on your calendar. If you don't show up for the SGLC retreat, as it is mandated per the articles of governance, we would likely seek judicial action on that. It's very unfortunate, but we are just asking for the weekend of September 12th and 13th, from 9:30 to noon. You get a lunch break, and then from 2 to 4:30. That on Saturday and Sunday, that's it. There's a chance to community build within the organization. There's a chance to, so much fun. Bingo. There you go. But this is something that SGLC in the past, we've gone to LUREC, but of course that's not a possibility this year, unfortunately. But meaningful retreats can still happen over Zoom. I promise, hold me to that. But I am very much so looking forward to that weekend, and we'll be in touch with agenda, with content, and with stuff to do before that weekend.
If you cannot make it, this has been communicated a few times via email. Again, just per our articles, this is a process. We did ask for any excusal requests by this past Sunday night. I'll extend it to tonight. I have to excuse it if you need it. Please shoot me an email ASAP if you do not expect to be able to make it, even for a portion of the retreat. I will be flexible. I'm not trying to be a stickler on this. We just need to know if you're going to be there or not. All right. Okay, I think that's all we have. We really appreciate your attention at this time. Again, I promise reports won't be, on our end, won't be that long, but coming off of the summer, there's a lot of important information and really awesome updates that we wanted to share with you too. At this point, I'll turn it over to any other members of the executive branch, and also invite, whenever she'd like to, invite Evelyn from our RUPE to introduce herself as well.
Alright, so hi, my name is Evelyn Camargo. I am the Vice President of the Student Government at RUPE, and I'm here to serve as a liaison and to just continue building community and relationship between SGLC and SGAC. And I'm excited to be here. I am currently a second year student as well. And this year I just really hope to build a stronger community, because that is one of our concerns, where we have already talked about, my team and I have discussed that many students may feel unwelcomed on the Lakeshore campus, and we just feel like there's just some lack of representation for SGAC and just RUPE students in general at Loyola. So really, I just hope to straighten the relationship between us this upcoming semester.
Any other folks on exec want to provide a report?
Yeah, quick. Hello everyone, my name is Ria. I send out emails twice a week. On Sundays, I send out meeting materials. Thursdays, I send out the minutes. If there's any information you would like to send out to the organization, need to send it to me either by 4 p.m. on Sunday or noon on Thursday. Otherwise, due to class and work schedules, I don't know if I'll be able to include it in the that email. But
Hi everyone, I'm Erla. I'm the Chief of Staff. You may have received several emails from me throughout the summer. I just wanted to remind everyone that if you aren't a part of LU community or a part of our SGLC Facebook group, to get in contact with me, just so that we can extend our communication to those platforms as well. Thank you.
Are there any other exec members that would like to give a report?
I have some quick updates. Hi everyone, my name is Rahima. I'm the Chief Health and Wellness Officer this year. So I've been working a lot with the Wellness Center and establishing relationships with different staff members just to encourage more creative ways of engaging the student body. And one thing that's been really helpful for me as a student government representative, but also as a student, has been being subscribed to the Wellness Center newsletter. It's something we've been working on getting dispersed to the entire student body, but if everyone is in consensus, I was thinking of also subscribing the entire body to the newsletter. There's a lot of amazing updates on different services they offer, group therapy options that are also identity-based and also location-based, so students that are on campus in Illinois versus students that are at home. So those are some amazing opportunities, so please let me know if you would rather not get another additional email. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Chief Sustainability Officer. Most of the updates that I had from my report have already been talked about by the other members that I'm working on them with, but I still wanted to introduce myself as I am new to SGLC. Yeah, and I was hoping more people would go before me and then I could just like follow suit and copy what they did, but I've been working on the sustainable investment policy with Maddie and Martin. I don't know if I should address you two more professionally. I'm sorry about that. And I just wanted to add to what they talked about, that although a huge part of that is divestment and advocating for divesting from fossil fuels, we will also be having a big emphasis on not just like the do no harm, but also the positive and proactive approach to a sustainable and socially and environmentally responsible investment, which is let's invest in things that have a positive impact on the environment and on society. I've also been working on the Airmark, kind of separating from the industrial prison complex and finding more ethical food providers, or devising legislation and a food procurement policy that's either independent or that only works with small ethical providers that we trust and want to support. Also the TGIF, we're excited to see how we can revamp that and make it something that promotes creativity amongst all students, not just environmental students. Yeah, just wanted to say hi.
Hi, my name is Jorge Bello. I'm your Chief Financial Officer. I am also new, like Isabel, and it's really a pleasure to meet everyone here. It's actually really exciting for me. And like, you guys will be seeing me in a semi-regular basis because like I am like the front man for the budget. It's one of my responsibilities. And like right now, I really wanted to encourage everyone to to think about like how spending is gonna look this year. We have some very strange challenges that come from the idea that COVID is a thing, and COVID is really pervasive, and it has changed the way that we will spend throughout the year. And I wanted to encourage everyone to do your best and find really creative and purposeful ways of spending throughout the year. I'm also like work as a resource for for other people, especially in the communities, especially for allocations. And I've been working closely with Isabel for the last couple weeks. And I really want to offer myself as a resource for anyone else who wants to like deal with money or has to like really take a challenge of how to manage those resources. And well, I hope everyone does really well with this new semester.
Hi guys, I'm Bethany. I'm an associate communication officer. I just wanted to say that we still do need people to sign up for monitoring the virtual organization fair Zoom night. I'm gonna drop a sign up link in the chat between 3 and 6 p.m. Central Time. Consider signing up for a 30-minute slot. That's all.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sal. I'm the Chief Communications Officer. I've been here this is my 3rd year now, or 2.5. I was the Chief of Staff last year, so I know some of you. Welcome to our new members. A couple things. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to our communications team and Bethany and Jocelyn. They've been doing an amazing job with social media because I barely know how to run Instagram, which is pretty unique for a communications officer. Anyway, they've done a great job. If you need anything regarding social media or the website, I would encourage you to reach out to them. I would also encourage you to check out the website if you haven't. Bethany took the time to update it and it looks beautiful. So it's the best I've ever seen the website. It's really great. I could talk about a lot, but I won't. A couple things, obviously elections are in full swing. And we've been marketing that. We'll continue to market that. I'm a part of the elections committee as well, so I've been kind of working in tandem. I'm kind of being the middleman. I updated there's a organizational outreach Excel sheet. I went through LU Community and got all the contact information and updated it and sent out all of our packets and information to probably over 200 organizations and a bunch of faculty, staff, and administrators. So if you know anyone specifically that wants to get involved, let me, let Kaylee, or let Jake know so that we can get the packet out. We can get an information sheet out to them and then get them set up for an application and a candidate meeting. Pretty much everything else is in the report. We do have a lot of Welcome Week activities, webinars. We'll be sitting on a couple as a comms team. There's some dedicated to sustainability. We're planning a National Suicide Prevention Month webinar in coordination with Howard Brown Health. So that'll be, I think, September 10th, I believe, is the projected date that we have. So we're still kind of working through that. But we do have a lot of different ways for you all as members to get involved in webinars. So if you're interested, like Bethany said, we do need some more volunteers for the org fair. And then if you want to get involved in other ways, please let us know as well. That's pretty much it. If you need anything from a communication standpoint, please reach out to me, phone, email, letter, whatever you need. Just let me know and I'll be happy to work with you. And I'm excited for a great year. So that's all that I have. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor, for those who do not know me, and I serve as Chief Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Officer. This summer has been full for me, and I wanted to name that all summer I've been sitting on the university's Anti-Racism Initiative Committee, as well as working with the BCC to draft and promote the list of student recommendations on behalf of Black students, and also coordinating with our student advocates out in the streets, as well as Senator Mallory, who is also part of that group, staying in communication about what's happening with the different protests that have been going on this weekend, and participating in them myself. But with all of that, there is a lot of confusion and lack of knowledge about what is happening with the Anti-Racism Initiative, and I would like to gauge people's interest in me putting together a presentation of sorts to provide more context and information on my role in the committee and things that I have been doing on behalf of student government to ensure that that is communicated to our Senate body and everyone else involved in the student government. So I can do that if folks are interested, and I would like to gauge people's interest through like the raise hand thing if Kaylee wants to help me out with that. But if folks are interested, I would love to see a show of hands, and then I can work with Senator O'Brien to coordinate scheduling that one of these Tuesdays.
Yeah, please do use the raise hand function under participants. That would be real helpful. All right, thank you, CEDIO Thomas. I'm gonna go ahead and ask that you do put that together for our next Senate meeting. And I think if that was the end of your report, that was most of the exec members. So
yeah, or are you going, Kaylee?
Yeah, go ahead, Jocelyn.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jocelyn. I'm an ACO as well. Just a little update on our social media. We gained 150 new followers this summer, and our engagement has been really up, so that's been super exciting. So I just kind of want to ask for you guys to keep, sharing the posts that we do, which you guys have been, so that's amazing. Thank you. And as you guys noticed, I've been working on the SGLC member highlights, and currently on the Zoom call, there's 30 participants, and we've only have 19 respondents. So if you haven't filled that form out yet, please do. If you can't find it, just shoot me an email or text and I will send it over to you. But yeah, please fill that out. And again, keep sharing everything. And thank you for all the positive feedback that we've been getting. We appreciate it. And if you need anything from us, just let us know. Thanks.
All right, are there any more reports from the executive branch? All right, well, at this point, I'm gonna put out a couple reminders, and then we will finish out our meeting for today. So first, as we mentioned, the org fair is tomorrow. The comms team has worked really hard to get us a spot there, and we should definitely sign up. If you haven't already, you should. Second, I am going to be having a legislation workshop. It will not be recorded, unfortunately, but if you have questions, you can always email me. Senators, I'd encourage you to come if you're thinking about writing legislation at all. It's easier to get the information now than to get it later. And then last but not least, it is election season, so please encourage literally everyone you know to run or consider running, or just, do your best to get it out there. Also, just as a reminder that I'm just going to give, because it's the first Senate meeting of the year, always read all the materials before we come to Senate. Always, flat out always. But that is all I have, so do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? All right, Senator Palmer moves to adjourn the meeting. We are not going to do voting right now because it's a lot of extra work and time, so I'm just going to consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for your time.